Boom, we are live. Hit it a little early. Why not? Why not? I was tired of waiting. What's happening, crypto fam? Welcome back to Love for Crypto Live. Love for Crypto show, baby. I'm Scott. It's a pleasure to have you here, whether you're watching now live or you're coming later on. It's a pleasure. So thank you. Thank you. Give it a share, give it a thumbs up. Let's spread the love and let's spread the information on internet of value. So, moving on with the IoV agenda, I wanted to talk about it not being about the money. It's about the value. It's not called the internet of money. It's called the internet of value. And money's evolved many times across history. It's now barely got any value except the value people put on it themselves and the fact that people accept it. So before I get going with a bit of the information, we'll just have a few hellos. Hello, XRP Venture, what is happening? Digital Dinero Dave, welcome. Steve, welcome, glad to see you here. I feel like I'm about to get enlightened. Well, I hope so. I hope you not only find value in the content, but you enjoy it a little bit as well. Let me move that can over there just in case my brew runs out. Oh, cursor's blocking that name. Hello, Sergio. Meowga, Mr. Meowga. Pleasure. So, let's just dive into it. Let's not beat around the bush. What's money? What is money? Said this morning, and I wish I had a note on there. I don't carry too many notes anymore, but as on an English note, you've got Bank of England, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of £10 on demand. Or I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £10. Which means that £10 note is actually not £10. It's an IOU that the bank will pay you £10 on demand of that IOU. Don't work like that anymore, and if anyone thinks it does, I challenge it to go to the Bank of England and prove to me that it does, and go and get £10 worth of salt, sugar, coffee. I don't care what you get, just get a commodity, get something of value, not money, not the IOU. Right? Are the banks open? The ATMs are just empty, or the ones I've seen. So money in and of itself is nothing. It can be a shell, a metal coin, or a piece of paper with a historic image on it, or a monarch. But the value that people place on it has nothing to do with the physical value of the money. I'll say that again because it means the paper it's printed on. The value people place on it has nothing to do with the paper it's printed on, the actual IOU you hold in your hand. Money derives its value by being a medium of exchange, a unit of measurement, and a storehouse for wealth. Money allows people to trade goods and services indirectly, understand the price of goods, prices written in dollars and cents correspond with the amount in your wallet, and gives us a way to save for larger purchases in future. It makes it easier to know that's worth the same as that when there's a price tag on it with the currency of whatever country you're in. Money is valuable merely because everyone knows everyone else will accept it as a form of payment. So let's take a look at where it has been and how it's evolved and how it's used today. Firstly, before I follow that article, money is valuable merely because everyone knows everyone else will accept it as a form of payment. Now, currency-wise, CBDCs, cryptocurrencies, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I feel anything classified as a currency moving forward could either be repegged to something or legitimately just remain as currency currently is and just have the value everyone else puts on it. So in XRP's case, being a currency, it would have its use case value of the volume pushing through the ledger. It would have its trading value and the actual value of the buy-sell pressure, and then that would equal its total value of what it's actually worth real world. So let's carry on. A world without money. Money in some form has been part of human history for the last 3,000 years. Longer if you say trading a clay pot for a bone necklace. Someone's got a bone necklace in the past and someone's got a clay pot and they trade them. That was a trade of value. where they didn't need the money, they saw the value in each other's asset, and they was willing to trade because the guy could make a new necklace but couldn't make a pot, and the other guy could make a new pot but couldn't make a necklace. Bartering is what they called it. Bartering is a direct trade of goods and or services. I'll give you a stone axe if you'll help me kill a mammoth, for instance. But such arrangements take time. You have to find someone who thinks an axe is fair trade for having to face a 12-foot tussle beast. Do you know what I mean? So that's a bit of a random example. Mine probably better, from the necklace to the pot, being perfectly honest. One of the great achievements of money was increasing the speed at which business, whether mammoth slaying or monument building, could be done. Slowly, a type of prehistoric currency involving easily traded goods like animal skins, salt and weapons developed over the centuries. These traded goods serves as a medium exchange, even though the unit values were still negotiable. This system of barter and trade spread across the world and still serves today in some parts of the globe. Christine Lagarde talks about the little town centre where everyone used to go and do a little bit of trading and then go home. It's coming back with the internet of value. And with the internet, it's going to make the exchange of value a lot easier. Asian cutlery before Christ. Chinese moved from using actual tools and weapons as a medium of exchange to using miniature replicas of the same tools cast in bronze. Nobody wants to reach into their pocket and impale their hand on a sharp arrow. So over time, these tiny daggers, spades and hoes, garden hoes, were abandoned for the less prickly shape of a circle, which became some of the first coins. Although China was the first country to introduce recognizable coins, the first minted coins were created not too far away in Lydia, now Western Turkey. It is interesting knowing that when how long it took for bartering to actually need currencies and IOUs. Bill, appreciate that, mate. Sharing the liquidity. Is that how you'd like me to say it? Liquidity. What's up, guys? Just wanted to... Yes, Stuart XRP, respect. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And everyone else, without riling through the names, good to see you. Great to have you here, Chad. Crypto and Norma. Brought a load of silver from eBay. Good lad. Can you imagine post World War III? Let's just like have a little brain wander. Post World War III, post massive tsunami, asteroid impact, death of the internet. That silver is going to be extremely valuable to you. Even this necklace, that's silver. Got another one up there. It's got a sovereign in it, a little bit of silver. But like everyone says, oh, I'd have gold for a catastrophe and that, but a suitcase full of bullion's no good. You need the little coins that's only worth a little bit, and you need the big bars that are worth the new house. So if we ever end up back to bartering like that. Coins and currencies then. Where did they come from? And how did they evolve? So in 600 BC, Lydia's king minted off the first official currency. The coins are made from electrum, a mixture of silver and gold that occurs naturally, and stamped with pictures that acted as denominations. In the streets of Sardis circa 600 BC, the clay jar might have cost you 2 hours at a snake. Lydia's currency helped the country increase both its internal and external trade, making it one of the richest empires in Asia Minor. It is interesting that what someone says as rich... Oh, come on, man, I can't say that. Crowish, what's that? Croesus, as rich as a Croesus. I don't even know that saying. Never heard that. They're referring to the last Lydian king who minted the first gold coin. Unfortunately, minted coins had developed a strong trading economy, couldn't protect Lydia from the swords of the Persian army. Who had their own coins? No doubt. It's not just a piece of paper. When it looked like Lydia was taking the currency's developments around 700 BC, the Chinese moves from coins to paper money. By the time Marco Polo visited on Netflix, if you want to have a little watch of that, I don't know how deep it goes into the currency side. Once he visited in 1271, the emperor had a good handle on both money supply and various denominations. In the place of where the American bills say "In God we trust," the Chinese inscription warned those who are counterfeiting will be decapitated. That's it. So Europeans were still using coins all the way up to the 16th century, helped along by acquisitions of precious metals from colonies to keep minting more and more cash. Eventually, the bank started using banknotes for depositors and borrowers to carry around instead of coins. Let's just see. These notes can be taken to the bank at any time in exchange for the face values in silver or gold. So, so the notes could be taken to the bank in exchange for an actual commodity. So, you know when you watch stuff like Robin Hood and all that, and all the soldiers are coming for the taxes, and then they're getting bags and bags of gold coins and sovereigns and all this, and it just ends up needing to go fill the cart of gold. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? So, the gold stays in locked vaults while an IOU of the commodity goes on the paper. This paper money could be used by goods and operated much like currency today. But it was issued by banks and private institutions, not the government, which is now responsible for issuing currency in most countries. So the first paper currency issued by European governments was actually issued by colonial governments in North America because the shipments between Europe and the colonists took so long. The colonists often ran out of cash as operations expanded. Instead of going back to barter system, the colonial governments used IOUs that traded as a currency. The first instance was in Canada. This is 1685. So they're doing it to speed up the trade, to make it easier to carry the value. Money's created to make it easier to carry the value. It was a way, if you like, to interoperability back in the day. It really, really was. It's, Good day, mate. Good day, XRP. How you doing, mate? XR Republic used in the past acted as a bullion in Birmingham. Great customer service. Yeah, talking about getting the gold and silver in the chat there, lads. If you want to get on it, get on that gold and silver. Physical, hold it yourself. So the shift to paper money in Europe increased the amount of international trade that could occur. Banks of the ruling classes started buying currencies from other nations, created the first currency market. That's when you had currency wars and all the other stuff. Fast forward to now, and we've got mobile payments. The 21st century gave rise to two disruptive forms of currency: mobile payments and virtual currency. Mobile payments are money rendered for a product or service through a portable electronic device such as a cell phone, smartphone or tablet. Mobile payment technology can also be used to send money to friends or family members. Increasingly, services like Apple Pay and Samsung Pay are vying for retailers to accept their platforms for point of sale payments. Now with the next one, virtual currency, that point of sale payments is getting sped up, don't we? We know this. It's going to remove the pending payment as step one. That's step one in IoV. Remove the pending payment and make money move like information does today. Step one. It's always talking about Bitcoin, released in 2009 by the pseudonymous Satoshi Nakamoto, became the gold standard, so to speak, for virtual currencies. Never talk about ILP, they never talk about IoV, they never talk about XRP. It's always just Bitcoin and just not quite giving all the information. Link in the description to what is money. I won't go through it, but what is money? Money makes the world go round. They rely on it for an exchange, but basically it's worth nothing except the value people put on it. Like most things, don't get me wrong, but people think that money's still backed, and it's not. It's just not. When we look at all the money in the world, another day, another dollar, mate, never mind. Hey, if you need that toilet roll, mate, you got to get them dollars out and go and buy some. I've got some high grade stuff here, bruh. Like this is like proper high grade double skin, mate. It's thin, but it's double skin. Know what I'm saying? Right, so check out the what is money links in the description if you want to see how it should be pegged to a commodity, but it got changed, a gold standard in the 70s. It was just like one of the Bretton Woods meetings and that. But basically it comes down to this. What I was looking through this morning, what I Am Legion on Twitter shared, we've spoke about before, we've looked over it before, everyone's shared it from Instagram to Facebook to Twitter. I think it's all been seen, but it's not really been processed. It's not been processed. It's just not. right? So let's try and process it a little bit. Not just process it a little bit, but recognize it's in the past. Recognize a lot of the numbers have changed, but also recognize there's a lot of room on top for growth, but to actually nail down what all this is worth, because the derivatives is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Go and try and find out what the global derivatives are worth. Good luck. And then the lies that it's 544 trillion, but no one can prove it. So, ever wondered how much money there is in the world? Money, there's not a lot. Ever wondered how much value there is? Value, there's a hell of a lot. Let's bear in mind this is just the tracked value. And then when we're through it, let's talk about added value down the line. We know how much data we had pre-internet, then we got an internet of data. Now we know how much data we're creating and storing since that internet. Does anyone expect any different from the internet of value when anyone can trade with anyone, goods or services? Absolutely massive, this, guys. So let's get straight into it, missing all this stuff out. In fact, no, let's read that. The amount of money that exists exchanges, start again. The amount of money that exists changes depending on how we define it. The more abstract definition of money we use, the higher the number is. Interesting. Are the abstractions created by central banks really money? What about gold, Bitcoin, or other hard assets? For purists who believe money refers to only physical and narrow money, banknotes, coins, and money deposited in savings and checkings accounts, the total is somewhere around $36.8 trillion. If you're looking at broad money, which isn't just physical money, and includes any money held in easily accessible accounts, the number is about 90 trillion. If we just go back to what is money and go down there, they actually break it up into 3 categories. M1, active money. M2, with a broader criteria. And M3, the broadest class of money. But that's for another read for you guys, linked in the description. But for those preferring an even broader interpretation, this is not a broader interpretation of money, it's value. If we take money as currency, then the rest of it's value. The currency buys something of value. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Again, we're gonna recognize that this stuff was is in the past. We're pretty much in the past here. So basically, Apple's the world's largest public company by market capitalization, worth 8 billion. Didn't really get that up, but I don't know how close it is. The state of California, 2.9 trillion GDP. Well, I looked that up, and that's now at 3.1 trillion for last year. So that's rose, right? The Federal Reserve Bank balance sheet, 4.5 trillion. Couldn't really find that. I didn't want to spend too much time looking for it. Coins and banknotes at 7.6 trillion. The world's gold, above ground gold at the time, 187,200 tons. Above ground gold now sits at about 190,000 tons. So the numbers are slowly going up. Global stock markets, I don't even think did I get that up? That was global stock markets, 73 trillion, now approaching 90 trillion. Yeah. Before this week. Yeah, before we throw that at me, don't go throwing that at me in the comments of the crash. We know how volatile it is. This is why I'm just doing a little comparison. We now come to the narrow money, the total value. The total value of the money is just all lies with people. According to the CIA, the total amount is 80 trillion. According to the Bank for International Settlement, the total amount is 5 trillion. If only we had a blockchain that could track it and give us an exact number, eh? If only. Global debt, 215 trillion. Is it? Is it, mate? Are you sure? These are claiming on January the 15th, 2019, I might add, over a year ago, that it's 244 trillion. What was it there? 215 trillion. No, 244 trillion. Let's see how fast it's going up. What? This is scary. This is watch this, Americans. You want to see how fast China's catching you? This GDP here. So this one here is China, the second one down, and America to top it. See the $100,000 bit. Watch how fast that's 6, 7, 8, 9, and then boom. So it started again with at 1. This one's at 4, the top. 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's like overtaking it. They're both on 8 now. China's gone to 9. America's still on 8. China's gone, bam, 100,000. Reeling off £100,000 in GDP. Let's look at the debt. Let's compare the debt. How mad is that? It's almost like you just don't really want to look at it too much, but the link's in the description if you do. This is the kind of thing, guys, that we need to share to the family members and friends when you tell them that XRP is going to be worth $1,000 each, or maybe even £1,000 each, and they go, "Oh, there's not enough money in the world to buy all the XRP, then, no, is there? There's nobody in the world, mate." Madness. So global debt, the total amount of debt, including that accumulated by governments, corporations and households, together it adds to 244 around now. Global debt is currently at record highs, partially thanks to sky-high expansions of credit in China. Blaming China for? Have you seen this, mate? Blaming China. Seen that? 23 trillion. Go to the globalization video. I get this up at one point. I get the US clock up at one point and zoom in, and I'm sure it's only about 20 trillion. And within like 18 months, they've put 3 trillion on it. So they're just blaming China there when it's clear that every central bank on the flaming planet. Global real estate is another interesting one. The estimated value of all developed real estate in the world amounted at the time to 217 trillion. This covers residential property, office, retail space, hotels, industrial land, agricultural land, as well as other commercial uses. So again, when people thinking about currency with IoV, it's not just about currency. All these real estate sales, all the emerging market, the GDPs, the debt, the production, logistics, the trade, the P2P, the B2B, the government, you're paying your taxes, you're paying your national insurance, you're paying your health insurances, you're paying your car insurances, you're paying your car tax, your council tax, your Sky TV. I don't care what you're paying for. If you're making a payment, in the end, it's going through the Internet of Value. There'll be no pending payment stuff. All this value is going through the Internet of Value. But we have the derivative market. The low-end estimate of the size and scope of the global derivative market is 544 trillion. No. Can we just take a moment to recognise the fact that we're spitting out numbers here now that not one of us can comprehend? You ain't comprehending $1 trillion in your bank, mate. It's just, this is absolutely ridiculous numbers, guys. Ridiculous numbers. What is a derivative? One might ask. Well, a derivative is a contract between two or more parties that derives its value from the performance of an underlying asset, index or entity. Examples of derivatives are futures contracts, forward contracts, options, warrants and swaps. Someone's seen a big short. Banks typically use high amounts of leverage to attain these positions. Some derivatives, such as commodity futures, are traded on regulated exchanges such as the Chicago Exchange. However, the majority of derivatives are traded outside of exchanges between private companies and are called over-the-counter trades, or OTC, as you may have seen it. Collateralized debt obligations and credit default swaps are two derivative types that are now infamous for their roles in the 2008 financial crisis. Go watch Big Short. Are we about to see the big long, guys, from now to 2030? Are we about to see the big long, maybe even just till 2025? The big long The Internet of Value, exponential growth after phase 1, 2023 migration. So we're here at this line now. We've reached the low end estimation of 554 trillion. The high end estimated for value of all derivative contracts, though, is as high as 1.2 quadrillion. The truth is that no one really knows the exact size of the market. Oh, damn, James. If only we had some sort of technology that was distributed, trusted, reliable, transparent, and could log everything so we knew the value. It's a shame. They could even call it the Internet of Value. Do you know what I mean? It's that in your face, mate. What we need it, why we need it, how it's going to come about is all in your face if you look in the right place. Most interesting thing now is beyond that, how much will it add? So let me give you an example. Fortnite, the game, there's millions of kids that play it at the moment. There's millions of kids that are all going on about skins this and skins that, and it might be a way for a kid to send another kid a skin inside the game, and it gives him some money on the playground of the school or in the park at night. But what about when Fortnite put an ILP marketplace on the game that does in-game items with real-world value? That could instantly see several games across the industry introduce thousands of items of value that instantly have real-world value, that instantly gain real-world value as the gamers start to trade them. ILP with its own API is able to trade into them for the kid that wants to sell a skin in Tesco for a Mars bar. How much more extra value comes into this system and this graph then? When we talk about how much extra data is being created, why does anyone think it will be any different once you start building on top of Interledger and other interoperable systems? Whether it's Interledger, Hyperledger, your own ledger with just an ILP API to every other ledger, the stuff that's going to be built on this now is where people are missing the point. Don't get me wrong. The cross-border payments is what's getting the banks on board. It's what's getting the regulators to wake up, and it's what's moving it on. But it really, really is just step one, guys. It's just step one of many, many steps. Many, many steps. It's exciting times. It's extremely exciting times. We've been on almost half an hour, and I just want to showcase how much data we make now. How much data is created every day. Right. I mean, I've been through this before as well. I think I've been. Oh, in fact, was it the Forbes one I went through last time? I have to find a good one because not that many people. Not that many sites actually have a good one. I'm sure the Forbes one's set out better than that. I've been on them before. There it is, there it is, there it is. These numbers. I agree. Go on then, why not? So, yo, Jimmy James. Just mentioned you, Jimmy James. That's strange. Called you, mate. Brainwaves like that. Jimmy. Not many people made data, not many people wrote letters, not many people sent letters back in the day. If you had to, you had to. I'm guessing a lot of people just wouldn't have done it. I mean, shit, not a lot of people, all about far enough, not a lot of people could read and write to send the flaming letter. So how much data to create every day, the mind-blowing stats everyone should read. Now, I want you to put this into perspective. When the bigger the Internet of Things gets, once they're tapping into IoV, we get the smart house that's paying its own bills, paying for its own electric, its own gas, its own water, as it uses it. We're all on coil for subscriptions, all paying as and when we're watching it. True smart future of interoperability of value across all networks. How much more value will we create then? We can use this as a guide and example through the next several years to see just how much effect it's going to have on the amount of value on the planet. We've got that to go off from a few years ago. So when it all starts getting tracked on blockchain, it's going to become a hell of a lot clearer, transparent, readable information that we can then use to judge how it's going to grow. The amount of data we produce every day is truly mind-boggling. There are 2.5 quintillion bytes of data created each day at our current pace. 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. That's 2.5 thousand quadrillion bytes. It's absolutely ridiculous, that number. But that pace is only accelerating the growth of the Internet of Things. It's only accelerated with the growth of the Internet of Things. Sorry, over the past 2 years alone, 90% of the data in the world was generated. This is what I couldn't get my head around last time I spoke about this. 90% of the data in the world was generated in the last 2 years alone. It's worth rereading. You're not wrong there. I mean, I can barely say that. While it's almost impossible to wrap your mind around these numbers, I gathered together some of my favourite stats to help illustrate some. This is definitely what I read through before, and some people would have seen me read this before, but I'm just going to fly through some numbers rapid, and people are going to be like, what the hell? And bear in mind, this is what I'm saying. Go back long enough. This was on a pigeon's ankle, mate. Then we went to sending letters and waxing them and that. Post office and stuff. But then email came along. And 30 odd years out of email, after email, this is May 2018. It's 2 years ago. The numbers will be bigger now, man. You've got TikTok to consider and stuff like that now. But more than half our web searches from a mobile phone, that's nothing. More than 3.7 billion humans use the internet. That's a growth rate of 7% over that year, 2016. Google processes more than 40,000 searches every second and 3.5 billion searches per day. Now, how many letters were sent in 1995 compared to emails, and how many emails were sent in 2015 compared to letters? That is an absolute mind-boggling, crazy thing to get the perspective of. While 70% of the searches are conducted on Google, it would be remiss not to remember that other search engines are also contributing to our daily data generation. Worldwide, there are 5 billion searches a day, mate. 5 billion searches a day. Big numbers now. Social media. A current love affair with social media certainly fuels data creation. Snapchat users, over 500,000 photos. More than 120 professionals joined LinkedIn. Users watch 4.1 million YouTube videos. 456,000 tweets are sent on Twitter. And Instagram users post 46,000 photos. Reminding you that is every minute of the day. Every minute. With 2 billion active users, Facebook is still the largest social media platform. More than a quarter of the world's 7 billion humans are active on Facebook. More than a quarter of the humans on Earth are active on Facebook. Absolutely crazy. Communication. We leave a data trail when we use our favourite communication methods today, from sending text to emails. Here are some incredible stats from the volume of communication we send out every minute. Every minute. We send 16 million text messages. There are 990,000 Tinder swipes, 156 million emails sent worldwide. Is it expected that there will be 2.9 billion email users by 2019? I wonder if that was the case. 15,000 GIFs are sent via Facebook Messenger every minute. There are 103,447,520 spam emails sent every minute, man. What? Sort your spam out. There are 154,200 calls on Skype, digital photos. Oh my days, people will take... What? 1.2 trillion photos by the end of 2017. I mean, it carries on into services and everything. The Internet of Things. Let's read this one and then we'll have a little speculation. The Internet of Things connected smart devices that interact with each other and us while collecting all kinds of data. It is exploding. From 2 million devices in 2006 to a projected 200 billion by 2020, and is one of the primary drivers for data vaults exploding. Let's take a look at some of the stats and predictions for just one type of device. A voice search is about to be huge, and not just for data creation, but for making payments too. Neo, order me that. Okay, Google, order that. Pay for it. It's coming. The algorithms and the APIs and the commands and the voice apps just need building. And I know you're listening, Google, but I don't really want you at the moment, love. There are 33 million voice-first devices in circulation. 33 million different devices back in 2018. 8 million people were using voice control each month. Again, it was back in the past. Voice search queries in Google for 2016 were 30 times. The growth's exponential. It's the only really thing you can say. So, when people start building on IoV, when they start building on the Internet of Value through Interledger Protocol, where you can swap anything of value, where I've shown on like the interoperability page that you're probably going to have on your phone, that means like a smart contract for gold is probably likely going to have to be a certain kind of smart contract. And then at the other end, all the platforms and networks that accept gold and will store a smart contract of gold and will even go as far as logistically get it transported and stored for you. That needs to be a certain kind of smart contract that the system knows where it goes. For instance, try to upload a PNG image to something that's asking for a JPEG. Try to upload an image for YouTube thumbnail that's too big for it. Try to send a PDF to an audio app. The audio app's not going to accept the PDF. The APIs and apps and algorithms behind the scenes, they know what a JPEG picture is, they know what a PNG picture is, and you can imagine the different types of contracts are going to be written in the same way. So when it's a smart contract that governs a house, your phone and a network of networks is going to know which apps you're signed into, which you can send the smart contract of a house to, and trade it with something else of value on that platform. It's absolutely mind-boggling when you start thinking of it like that. Who's going to make the platform where I can just swap some XRP for gold, or where I can swap my TV for anything else I want, and it's all interoperable for the same apps? This is the thing. This is what we're saying in several years, 2025 to 2030. That's where all that will be being built. We see the advert from the Russian advert from the World Cup where all the devices are talking to themselves. It's coming. They're building it. They're putting adverts like that out to prepare people and say, like, look, we told you it was coming. Why are y'all acting surprised? Yes, Alex. Nice to see you in the stream, mate. Nice to see you in the stream. What's up, Brady? Nice to see you. It's great to see you all. Wayne. What's up, brethren? Apollo's a scam, apparently. And The Wonderful Life of Bob J. Nice. I've heard but can never find it. I know where to buy Apollo. Where's buy Apollo, mod? Apollo FinTech just announced that we go back national currency. See, I think the CBDCs should be somehow commodity back to something. This is what I was saying at the start. I think the currencies are kind of going to stay the same way because people are just happy putting value on things in that way these days. Like, they don't even realise the paper's not worth nothing. Paper it's printed on isn't worth anything. It's just not. It just isn't. See, if this mentions it, probably will. Money makes the world go round. Economies rely on exchange for money and products and services. Economies define money, where it comes from and what it's worth. Here are the multi-phase characteristics of money. Money is a medium of exchange. It allows people to obtain what they need to live. Bartering was one way that people exchanged goods for other goods before money was created. Like gold and other precious metals, money has worth because for most people it represents something valuable. Fiat money is government-issued currency that is not backed by a physical commodity, but by the stability of the issuing government. Will CBDC stay the same? Will they be backed by gold or commodities, silver, coffee, sugar, cotton, wool? You know, it's an interesting one. I've sat here many times saying I don't know how they're going to build it. I don't know what they're going to build. I don't know what the CBDC structure and how it's going to take shape. I've just known for two years now that CBDCs are coming, and I'm still waiting. We're still waiting. We've known that IoV is coming through ILP, but we're still waiting for the reach. More and more corridors all the time, and it's just expanding the reach. Just expanding the reach of on-demand liquidity. It's extremely interesting the way it's going to go. That's all I can really say about it. Other than that, we can just speculate like we are doing now, which is great to do, given the information that we've been given in the past and recently. We know where it's heading. We just don't know how exactly it's going to get there. It's Steve Willits, morning. Cooler Phil, much love fam. Love you too. Love you all. We love you all. A little bit of an example here now. Internet of Value, and it's Ripple. Internet of Value, what it means. Oh, that's a PDF. Internet of Value Exchange, Bitcoin protocol and network today is a foundational layer. It's a value transfer network. Beyond that, why Bitcoin again? Why Bitcoin again? Because you know it's not. Blah, blah. Interoperability of public blockchains. There are considerable opportunities for organizations that adopt blockchain technology internally using bespoke blockchains or so-called side chains, which provide some interoperability with public blockchains like Bitcoin while adding new functionality. Perhaps the most significant opportunity, though, comes from blockchains that link current disparate parts of one enterprise together or many different organizations from within the same sector. Interesting. At the end of the day, you can search this all the time. Go for Internet of Value, interoperability, making money move as fast as information goes, and there's only one place you come back to, I'm afraid. And do you know what I mean? There is only one place it comes back to. I mean, this is June 2017. What's telling me like they're not the builders? The builders, what is the Internet of Value? These guys are building it, doing everything in their power to help it happen because the world's going to need it. You think the next generation growing up want it all voice, this boom, are going to want a wallet, mate. Mate, where's my wallet? Oh, I'm back. Right, watch this. Wallet. Got money in it. Well, might be a few coins. Well, 7p. Worth dough that wallet, mate. 7p. But bank card, not going to need it soon. Barclays, not going to need it soon. Wirex. Revolut. All kind of cards that could be on my phone. Could use contactless at a point of sale. Credit card. Membership card. Driver's license could just easily be on a digital ID. That I've got my ECS card for work, about my skills. I've got an inland revenue registration card, a UTR and stuff. Little bus card in case I ever need to jump on the bus. Basically, everything in that can now be on that 100%, and that's without blockchain, save for maybe the digital ID. They need to prove people are who they are. But again, if facial recognition could do that, if more people weren't afraid of it. Consciousness and puppies. Good to see you here, mate. Yeah, I might only be on for another 5-10 minutes, so it will be better going back to the beginning before YouTube cuts it off. To process it and re-upload it. Wayne Armstrong once upon a time wondered if there was too much XRP, and I'm wondering if there's enough. Exactly, Wayne. It's there's enough XRP for the foreseeable future, i.e. the next several decades, if not century, but you will need other assets helping it out down the line. There's no ifs or buts about it. Daniel, it's good to be live again, mate. Good to be live again. I got a little bit disheartened the other week when they took my live video off. Don't know why they did it. Hopefully it won't happen again. But let's just have a little read of this while we wind it down. And I just can't wait for a little bit more information to start dripping down out of IoV, and for it to be truly recognised like the Internet of Things is. Even though to most people, we started talking about Internet of Things just like, oh, you mean like Alexa and that? It's probably all anyone will say. So our vision is for value to be exchanged as quickly as information. They don't say money. This is what I want people to legitimately start realising. Most of the initial and most of the bigger documents, the deep fundamental documents, do not mention money over value. It's more about value. Again, it's not called the Internet of Money. It's called the Internet of Value. And the vision is for value to be exchanged as quickly as information. Although information moves around the world instantly, a single payment from one country to another is slow, expensive, and unreliable. In the US, a typical international payment takes 3 to 5 days to settle. There's an error rate of at least 5% and an average cost of $42 worldwide. There's blah, 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 blah. Goes on to currency and money. So I don't blame people. Be like, yeah, well, you're talking about money, mate. So you might say it's not about money, but that's talking about money. And it's like, well, you can't get to where I'm talking about if you can't send currency instantly. That's the first step. You need to get cross-border payments through interoperability of currencies done first. And then we can build on top of it. It's like saying let's build Facebook before we've really built the internet. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But blockchain is going to enable it. Until now, selling, buying, or exchanging these assets has required an intermediary like a bank, marketplace, physical or digital credit card company, two-party bookings. So basically, to swap value, you need a third party most of the time. Blockchain's enabling it to be B2B, P2P without the intermediary, just like the Internet of Data did for you not needing an intermediary to send the letter. Didn't need the post box and post office, just went online and just WhatsApped the guy. Just emailed the guy. WhatsApp came later, obviously, but that's how entwined it is with us now, innit? We just say it naturally. I meant email. WhatsApp didn't come till later, but, you know, it's absolutely crazy that people can't put it to this. For me, this is why I disappear for a few days on Twitter now and then, because everyone's just going on about cross-border payments and cross-currency, and it started to bore me a little bit. And the all-out Internet of Value, with value moving instantly, like I say, the new upcoming trade, mate, there's going to be trade markets for online gaming items. Online game, regardless of what else anyone can think of. If anyone else can think of anything else random, let me know. But 100%, 100%, there is going to be a gaming marketplace for gaming items. There's already items within games with real world value. It's just illiquid. Strange, isn't it? Because if only there was something to sort out liquidity, you know. That's what it comes down to. This is way bigger than currencies, guys. And I'll keep banging the drum until everyone gets it and everyone actually betters their life a little bit through it. Wayne, appreciate that, mate. I appreciate that. I'm going to go and get my tea now. Time to go for the tea. Got a contract for work. Do you know what? Every time a contract in work ends, I keep thinking, like, shall I just knuckle down on the content and do like 2 or 3 vids a day? And then I never end up with much time because I've got to try and get the next contract to work. And now I'm back in work on a contract again next week. But I swear to God, sooner or later, a contract's going to end, and I'm just going to start doing all this full time, and I ain't going to go back to work as an electrician. I'm just not. I can't wait for that day to come. I'm pushing people to make money off the hobbies. It's possible, it's doable. We just have to grind it. I encourage anyone and everyone to start an online brand, an online channel. Start talking about something you've got a little bit of passion in, and we'll all help each other build brands online and run through this shitty time of what's looking like a pretty long, nasty recession of what it's going to be, because they're prolonging it as long as they can, propping it up as long as they can. So if we can just come out the back end of this in the next couple of years, if not just 6 months, but the next couple of years, all the way to 2025, we can come out the back of this, not only in better financial situations, i.e. don't have to be rich, man. Let's get that right. You have to be financially comfortable and no more money worries. Your life's going to get a hell of a lot better when you've got no more money worries. But let's get through it. Let's get happy. And let's start earning off some hobbies, because that's the future of work. The world's going autonomous. Don't need people doing most jobs they do. As sad as it is to say, it ain't going to need me in the end. It'll have a robot being a spark in the end. Sadly, supermarkets and servers and workforce, production line, logistic line, they're going first. Taxi drivers and that are going first. But it's not going to stop with this recession, guys. The automation industry, Internet of Things, it's just going to keep taking jobs off people, whether we're in a recession or not. So it's time we all woke the F up and started learning and realising that you can make $100,000 or pounds a year talking about cabbages on YouTube if you just find the right following. You'd be talking about tarmac, different tarmacs around the world, mate. If you just find 100,000 guys who do tarmacking and are interested in it, you're going to be making a living out of it. I'm sorry, but you just are. It's talk about dolls, talk about Superman, the comics. I'm into comics, me. I'll come on a podcast on your channel, talk about how much I love comic characters. Think about what you want to do and what you want to be, and let's do it together. Interesting that, Daniel. States in Australia introduced digital driver's license on the phones. I think there's a digital ID being rolled out in Germany as well. The asset that bridges IoV incalculable. It's XRP setting the standard. There will be others, no doubt. If you can't keep up with XRP, do it as fast as XRP. No one's going to choose you. No one's going to use you, especially the algorithms in machine-to-machine payments through the Internet of Things. Connecting the blockchains is the key. This is why Ripple, along with a growing community of financial institutions and payment providers, support Interledger Protocol, not just support it, they created it, which standardizes how to instantly settle transactions across different ledgers and networks. ILP can be thought of much like the protocol HTTP used in web address that became a global standard for online information exchange. Critically, ILP can allow all assets of value, including cryptocurrencies like XRP, existing currencies like the euro, US dollar, and other securities, stocks, bonds, and commodities, to be exchanged by people. Oh, vision for the second era of the internet. This is not over, guys. Not over. We will continue to cover this now and into the foreseeable future for the next several years. Oh yeah. My son's middle name's Kal-El. Chad calls. Get on some content with him, mate. Get reviewing new comics or something, reviewing the new anime. In fact, so most of the animation these days, kids can't even watch it. It's crazy. It's crazy dark, man. Do you know the DC animation is darker than the Marvel live action? You know, with Thanos and all that, guy wipes out half the universe, and Batman animated is darker. Work that out, mate. Like, got Sebastian's always like to watch that Batman. Like, Seb, it's 15, mate, 5. Yeah, but there's 5 Batman films. I was like, yeah, there's only one's a PG, mate. The rest are 15, you're 5. It's not happening, bro. It's not happening. But yeah, hey, Pat's there. Sadly winding down. Only be on for a few more minutes. But if you've got time, I suggest you rewind it before YouTube cuts it off for processing, before they re-upload it, because that is what they will do. We've been talking about the history of money, how we went from bartering to coins that actually were pegged by wealth, that were just an IOU, that actual wealth, when you want it, need it, delivering. Then they took it off the gold standard. It was just backed by nothing really, just the value people put on it. Money in and of itself is nothing. It's nothing. Legitimately. Not worth the paper it's printed on. Guys, I just want it to start moving a little bit faster, but it won't move as fast as we all want it to. That's where the patience comes in. We just have to get educated and learn to use it to our advantage. Monetization is going to go off somewhat rotten. What does it mean for the new monetized content? So if I could just draw the picture here now and easily write a smart contract for it on a platform and then put it on some artistic platform for sale, that's more value in the world. This is what I'm saying by what's going to happen to this chart by 2030, when the IoV has enabled us to just create things of value in our bedroom and just put it online via smart contracts and wait for someone to buy it. It's absolutely incredible when you think about how much this exponential growth is possible from here. And all you have to do is look at the exponential growth of the creation of data since the Internet of Data for a little bit of a comparison of how we're going to see exponential growth of value through the Internet of Value. Amazing times, guys. Amazing times indeed. I want to thank everyone for watching, for tuning in. I'll try and get live next week. After work. I'm in work tomorrow. I've got to get inducted on the site and all that, but I'll be off Friday, so there should be an early video tomorrow morning. I'll be back Friday, and I'll be going live from weekends again, not just on this channel, but on Love for Media as well. Look out for deep talk on that. We're going to talk about some deep topics most people don't even like to discuss. So, yeah, we're going deep on Love for Media every Sunday morning. Stay tuned for that. Do you know what, Jimmy James, when robots take over, they ought to pronounce it right? Deep Talk on Sunday is about Neuralink's brain chip and about us connecting to artificial intelligence and Elon Musk's vision and all that. It will be a great deep talk on Sunday morning. So make sure you tune in. Thank you, Chad. It's always a pleasure to go live for you. I actually enjoy it. As you can probably tell, I'm struggling to say bye. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Don't want to turn it off. I just want to carry on. I need my tea though, and it's getting late. So, yeah. On that note, wishing health and happiness to you and yours. Stay safe, get and stay happy. Try and see the positive no matter what happens. See or be the light in the darkness, guys, and let's ride this wave like a proper surfer would, and not doggy paddle back to land with our tail between our legs. Superb. We need a time when you go live, mate. Sundays, it will be around 10 a.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. Greenwich Mean Time. Where that phrase comes from, someone Google that and let me know. Invest in the Internet of Value, guys. Invest in yourself. Invest in your own time. Figure out a way to make money from your hobbies, and you will be happier. And you will get happier than you have ever been in your life. I promise. It's just about figuring out what that passion is you want to speak about. Invest in it. Put time into it. Put energy into it. Put the passion and drive that you've got hidden away into it. And see what it turns into. Live long and hodl it, baby. Whatever makes you happy. Much love, guys. Much love. You know the script. We love crypto. We love XRP. We love IoV. And we love you, baby. Love you. Mwah. I'll see you on the next one.